we're back for another exciting episode of the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play, and I am pumped for today's guest for a couple of reasons. And I feel like I say this every episode, but I know this guy, and I know this guy because I went to college with this guy, and I kind of was his roommate for a little bit, and it's been about that long since I've seen him. So I'm excited to have him on the show. This guy has been around the block when it comes to golf ops, and he's not old enough to have had the number of positions that he's had and to be in the position that he's in. And I'm excited to talk more about that. The guy has gone from head golf professional to assistant general manager to now general manager. We're going to talk about that journey on tonight's show. But before we get any further into this, if you haven't subscribed to the YouTube channel, click the subscribe button down below. That's the easiest way for you to get immediate updates when this episode drops every Wednesday morning at 10 a.m. Eastern Standard. Also, check out iTunes, Google Play. There's about 15 different ways you can get a hold of the podcast. I was talking to somebody earlier that's getting in on Stitcher. I don't even know what that is. That must be a podcast solution. Awesome. It's easy to find. Just Google Hashtag Wednesday Match Play presented by Eat Sleep Golf, and you'll find it. It's a very simple, but clicking that subscribe button is the easiest way to get the content. But tonight's guest, we're going to talk about golf. I mean, that seems to be a kind of a theme here on this show, but we're going to talk, about everything from his college days, because I was kind of there, right? And the name of the club that he works at, which has got a little tie, and I don't know how quickly he realized that whenever he got this job at this property. But I want to welcome Kyle Matson to the Hashtag Wednesday Match Play. Kyle, tell us who you are, what you do, and what you got going on in the game of golf.
Well, yeah. Thanks, Ricky. Thanks for having me on the show, and excited to get to do it. And I listen to the show, like I said, every once in a while. And but yeah, right now I'm the general manager at Dodge Riverside Golf Club. It's in Council Bluffs, Iowa, which it's an 18-hole public property. We're owned by the city of Council Bluffs. The management company that I work for is called Landscapes Unlimited. We came in March of this year to basically run the operation, and it's been a really exciting time the last year or so, as I kind of decided that I wanted to transition from a golf professional to being a general manager and running an entire club, and really excited again to get to Dodge Riverside, and excited to talk a little bit about that tonight with you.
So I had mentioned, and you kind of alluded to it right there, you've had a lot of different jobs over the years, and I have been following you ever since I left Marian that many, many years ago. I was only there for 2 years. I think you stuck it out and got the degree.
I made it all 4 years. Yep.
You're lucky, because I went to Purdue and ended up adding another year to my rotation there. So I think
I wanted to be done in 4 years. That was
well, I did too, but my goodness. Now, talk about your journey. So from Marian, what you studied there, and then your first job out of college, and then all the different positions that you've had. Kind of give us the 10,000-foot view of the different jobs that got you to where you are today.
So I initially got a job even before I graduated Marian. I got hired in March of, it would have been 2006, to a golf course called Heartland Crossing, a golf course that I know you're familiar with.
Awesome.
That we played a little bit. Yeah, really good golf course, and got hired on there as the second assistant golf professional. I worked there for almost 7 years, I think it was, where I slowly progressed. I was the second assistant for a few years, and then was the first or lead assistant golf professional, and then actually did become the head professional there for 1 year at Heartland Crossing. And then it was time, it was time to move on. Heartland had an ownership change, and I was ready for a different challenge, and so went right around the corner to a place called Winding River Golf Course, which I don't know if you're familiar with that one.
I know the name, but I've never been there, never played it.
Yeah, 18-hole public, part of the Indianapolis Parks Department, and got to be again. I was the hired on as the head professional there. Spent 3 years at that particular facility, and that was actually where I think I kind of got my, at Heartland I was just a golf pro, right? I ran events, I managed a staff, outside, inside, whatever it was. Did some of the merchandising. When I got to Winding River, I got to do a little bit more and understand what went into a golf course, how much money that you spent, in your maintenance department and food and beverage and all of that, and understood hey, how do we actually make money doing this? And that's where I really got my itch. And then this job came up with Landscapes Unlimited a few years ago, and where they were looking for new general managers, basically, whereas they're growing as a company. They were looking for assistant GMs, and so I went through the interview process and got hired on with them last April, and moved from Indianapolis, made a big move from Indianapolis to Omaha, Nebraska, about 10 hours away from where we were. Spent a year at a really nice private golf club called the Players Club, and 27 holes, totally private. Spent a lot more time. I've got a good golf background, right? So, I mean, I kind of know what goes on there. Spent a lot of my time in the food and beverage and events and weddings, and we also had a pool there, and so spent a lot of time doing that more than I did the golf operation. I still got to do a little bit of the golf operation, but they want to train you so that way you can run an entire facility when you get out of there. And then this past March, we got a new property just across the river in Council Bluffs, Iowa, and they said, Kyle, that's where you're going to go. We want you to go run that facility, and here we are today.
That's awesome. And still, you're like, I mean, early 30s, right? Like you sound, you got a resume.
I'll be 35. I'll be 35 here the first part of August. Yeah.
I just turned 35. I don't want to talk about it. I don't feel any older though, so I think
my wife has a hard time with it. I think a little bit, but you sit there, Ricky, and you think about just look at everything that we have accomplished. I mean, you're a very accomplished, in the golf business in your own rights, and that's what I think about. Is that, man? I mean, yeah, I'm 35, but gosh, I've done a lot, and I've still got a long way to do a lot more.
Well, then there's no question. And like I said, when I follow along with what you're doing and posting on Facebook, and I see how quickly you've moved up the ranks from head pro to where you are now as a GM, and I kind of like to look at it as thinking about where personally where I want my career to go, and where I can just tell based on the way you're talking where you want yours to go is we're kind of just rounding first, right? I mean, thinking about it in baseball terms, just getting started. I mean, the sky's the limit, and the golf business is something it's so rewarding, and there's so many places you can go, and not just in club management, whether you get into the tours, and you get into broadcasting, you get into, with management companies, you get into the PGA or the European tours or whatever. Like, there's so many different opportunities, and it's going to be fun to see where we are. And as long as you stay on Facebook, I'm going to keep following along. So.
Well, we'll definitely make sure to stay in touch for sure.
Now, we, as I said, first met in college. Names like Culverhouse, who I talk to a lot on Facebook, Smiley, who I see a lot on Facebook, Piper, Kornman, who is a very dear friend of mine. Jason Kornman and I talk almost daily. They're going to get a kick out of you coming on this show. So, do you still stay in touch with all the guys from Marian and your time back in Indiana?
A few. There's probably a few guys that maybe came along after you had left there. A guy by the name of Elliot Elger. Who's a couple years younger than us, also works in the golf business. Definitely stay in touch with Zach Smiley. Zach was my best man at my wedding, so I stay in touch. And actually, before I got the job before we moved out here, I actually interviewed for a job in northern Michigan where he is. And actually, when I went up there to interview, I stayed a night with him. He was my place to stay. So. I follow a lot of people on Facebook. I've probably gotten a little bit disconnected just because of where I am in the country now. That when we moved out here, we kind of got away from a lot of family and friends that we did know back in Indiana.
So in college, we played Coffin a lot. It was right across the street, but there's also practice and played at Riverside in the golf academy there. It's pretty funny that Riverside is now a part of the club that you manage. How long did it take for you to connect the two? Like, was that right away, or did you think about it later?
I didn't. What's really funny is that I have literally grown up on golf courses that are next to rivers. When I grew up playing golf, I played at the Lafayette Municipal Golf Course. It was right on the Wabash River. The dang thing flooded every single year, and I had to go look for a new place to play. And then played Riverside and Coffin. Those are right along the river. winding river is
probably on a river.
and here I am at Dodge Riverside, right along the Missouri River. So yeah, I guess I've got to look for whenever I decide to go somewhere else, I got to look for something with a river in it, I guess.
I mean, I think you're batting 1,000 there, so chances
Yeah,
are
right.
good. Now, talking about Riverside Golf Academy, do you remember Damon Keller by chance?
I don't remember that name. Yeah.
Okay, well then never mind.
Okay.
I'm still good friends with him. He worked there. I mean,
Okay.
when I had first started there, I worked there too. I mean, did you ever work there? I don't even remember. Did you
I never worked at either one of those. When I went back home and worked every summer at a couple golf courses. When I was between my junior and my senior year, I worked right around the corner at the Woodstock Club. I don't know if you ever got a chance to go over and play that one. It's
I didn't know.
Nine hole country club right across from the Indianapolis Museum of Art. Right there, it's actually right. You can almost look across and you can see Riverside Golf Academy is right where it is.
Wow, that's cool. 9-hole country club. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it was. I think they boasted as one of the oldest country clubs in Indiana is what they were. Really neat place, really cool.
Now, your club, 18 holes. What's kind of in your comp set right there? Like, what other clubs are you competing with, and kind of what's the golf market look like where you're located?
The golf market is just like any other city market like it is. We've got there's a Fox Run golf course that isn't too far from us. Shoreline Golf Club, which being it is a competitor of us. It's also part of the Landscapes family. It's an owned property for Landscapes, and then the ones that we really probably compete with a lot are actually across the river in Omaha. You get places like Benson, Johnny Goodman, the Knolls. Those are the ones that we really compete with. So again, I mean, it's a tough market. Just again, because it's just like every other place. There are a lot of public golf courses, and we're all in that same. It seems like we've all gotten stuck in that same $40 to $50 green fee range is where a lot of us are. So it's tough in that sense, just because we're all about the same price range right in there for most of us.
So that's a good segue into the next question. I'm pretty sure $23 is a misprint. There's no way it's $23 to play your place. Is it really that affordable?
No, that's what Monday through Friday to walk 18 holes is going to be $23 at that place, and again, that's pretty comparable to a lot of other golf courses. We might be I think we're a few dollars than what Shoreline, few dollars less there. So yeah, I mean, you add a cart fee and it's $35. So yeah, it's very affordable, and I know we were talking before about coming where you are, where you're paying $280 green fees. That's unreal to me.
Me
have
too.
to have a price point like that. Yeah, but no, I mean it's a rate that we're comfortable with, and that we can sell very, very well on there.
So when you got there as the general manager, you've only been there for a few months, right? You just got there earlier this year. What sort of programming have you already implemented? You've got so much experience in the golf space. Have you brought junior programming or ladies leagues, or are you working with the first tee, or kind of what sort of programming have you personally brought to the club, or was it already in place and you didn't even need to worry about it?
That's one thing that we're just starting to get into right now is to start getting some programming. So my thing was I got there a little bit late this year. We got there in March, and really nothing had been done, had been set up for the year. They had some leagues, they had some outings. And we also had an entire food and beverage operation that we had to basically start from scratch. So a lot of my time got spent there. I think I spent the first couple weeks constantly on a phone, whether it was calling previous events to say, hey, we're here now. We would love for you to come back, and so I spent a lot of time doing that, and a lot of time as we worked through the food and beverage operation. Of course, we had to hire a food and beverage manager and then do all that. So we got a little bit behind, and I was actually just talking to a couple of guys working for me here recently to start thinking about here as we get into next year, that we've got to get some programming like that going. Definitely having a junior golf program at the facility there is what we need to get going.
So there's a casino on property. Tell me a little bit more about that. Do you find yourself venturing over there after hours and playing some blackjack, or I mean,
no,
what's it look like?
I'm too busy. I'm too busy at work. I don't venture over there too much. So that's been a difficult one for us, actually. You would think it would be very simple to, because we're not technically part of Harrah's. They are across the street from us. They have a little bit of a tie with the golf course. But as far as traditionally in years past that they've done, any sort of stay and play or something like that with the casino, it just hasn't been done. So we're working right now on some things where we can do some stay and plays and try to partner with the casino across the street. They actually went through here recently with a general manager change over there in the last few months. So it's been kind of, again, it's another one that's just kind of slow going. And a little bit of it is because I'm in the middle of summer right now. We got a golf operation to run. I can't. I can't. It's tough to get pulled away for a few hours and go do something like that when you want to be at the club and be servicing the golfers.
That's awesome, and it sounds like, and it makes sense based on the personality that I know that you have, is that you want to be there. And some general managers at some clubs, they come in late, they leave early, and they're there 4 or 5 days a week. And
Right.
as we both know, that's not how it works, kind of in the real
Correct.
world, so to speak. So that's good to hear that you want to be at the club, and that even 3 hours to break away to go have those types of meetings is tough for you in the middle of the season. So that's good to hear. Now, you recently got some new sand, had a little bunker project going. Tell me more about that project, and do you have any more projects planned for this season?
Sure. So our we have about I got to remember our bunker number. I want to say we have about 45 bunkers on the property there. So we have a fair amount of numbers, and it's one of those ones that when you go to a lot of public golf courses, that's the number one thing I think that you see neglected. You've played enough public golf, I'm sure, over the years, that you get into a bunker and there's not sand in it. It's dirt. it's just nasty. And so that was probably one of my first things when I got there, that some of the regular golfers that are there every day, some of the season pass holders, league members that we have there, said, "Hey, what are you going to do with the bunkers?" And so we said, "Hey, we're gonna work on it, and we're gonna get there." And so Craig Mance is my superintendent. Craig and I, number one, are really good friends. Him and I actually worked together at the Players Club.
Oh, cool.
So when I came over, he was the assistant superintendent there, and so when I came over here, I said, "Craig's coming with me. I got to have him in my corner." And so so we added some. We put a Band-Aid on it for right now, where we were able to add some sand, and which is something that I don't think had been done in a number of years. And I actually talked to 3 or 4 guys here in the last couple of days that have gotten out to play, and they've been very, very excited with that change, to actually get in a bunker and be able to splash a little bit of sand out, not just dig into the dirt. My really, I get to come to a golf course, and I couldn't believe it. We get there and boom, we already have a not a large scale construction project, but we're rerouting 2 holes, our 13th and our 14th holes. A few years back, the state of Iowa came in and said, "Hey, we're going to widen this highway. When we do that, we're gonna come on. We're gonna have to move a side road onto your property." And so they said, "Okay." So they've done a bunch of things, and so right now I have holes 13 and 14. They built a temporary green last fall, and we got it ready this spring. So hole 13, which is normally a par 4, is right now a par 3 to that temporary green, and then 14 is a par 5, in which we have the tee moved up to about 150 yards. And playing that as a par 3 as well as they do this construction project.
Sounds like I need to come play your golf course because that's a couple of holes that would knock a few strokes off the end of my round there.
And that's the fun thing, is that a few guys, they come in and say, well, yeah, I made the par 69 basically right now as we cut those two down. I said, yeah, should make you a couple strokes better there, So I played the other day and I shot 73 and I felt like a hero. So
I don't need to know that it's not a par 72. I mean,
no,
nice
yeah,
round,
exactly.
right?
You just say what you shot. Nobody's really gonna. None's
the wiser.
But now, no, the construction project has been really fun. Getting out there, and I venture out there about every day and meet with the project manager that's out there. It's a really nice situation for us. The company that I have, Landscapes Unlimited, we also have a construction business. We're doing the work on the golf course. They got the bid to do that work as well. So really fun to get to kind of oversee that project, and we've had some little issues that have come up, and it's fun to go out there and get a chance to make some decisions on hey, what do we need to do here to change it, make it better.
Well, there's no question that you have got your boots on the ground, so to speak, literally boots on the ground when it comes to the operations at your club. And that's cool to hear from not only a general manager, but a young general manager who is really taking the job serious and is doing what a general manager should do, getting involved in every aspect of the facility, even going back to what you were saying about getting involved at other clubs with the F&B operations and the pool and, the stuff that's the amenities, the things that you don't think that a golf club general manager would even be involved with. So that's really cool to hear. And technically we're millennials, and I hate that because I don't feel like either one of us have that mentality.
We're on the tail end of it, right?
Yes, we're definitely on the breaking point. And I will say I've got my phone in my hands pretty much 24/7, but that's
sure.
I mean, I'm kind of an anomaly there with my social media obsessions, but I can appreciate that from a professional standpoint that you're out there looking and working and actually doing what a general manager should do. So,
well, it's one of those things. It's my facility, right? I mean, it's my, I put my name on it, and Landscapes, our parent company, and so yeah, we've got to be involved in all the aspects of it to know what's going on.
Now, real quick before we jump to the back nine, the most important aspect of working in this business is playing golf. Tell me you play golf like at least once a week. Do you get out?
I always have aspirations. I think every year since I got in the golf business that I was going to play. I always say I'm going to play once a week. I'm going to play once a week. I will say this: I did play golf 2 weeks ago, and I played golf last week. So if I can figure out a way how to get out here this week, I'm par for the course there on getting out once a week. So no, we do get to play. I mean that's a big part of what we. I mean that's why we're here, right? I mean,
bingo. That's why I work in the golf business, is to play golf. If I worked in a movie theater, I'd probably go watch movies. I'm just saying.
That's right. Yeah, that's right. So yeah, I get out and I get to play a little bit. And what's funny is I play less and practice less and play better. I don't know how that works, but maybe my expectations are a little lower than what they used to be. But the job definitely keeps me at work a lot, and hopefully get some opportunities to play. But my home life is probably a little bit more with wife and kids, and they're getting to the age now where they're into sports and stuff like that. So
yeah, you didn't have the kids when I knew you last. Those weren't around.
What's that?
You didn't have kids when I knew you last.
Nope, I didn't. No.
Family. Now that's only halfway there. So we have this segment, and you've watched the show, which is awesome to have people come on the show that have watched the show, listen to the show. We have this segment called the Back Nine, just 9 fun random questions, taking a little bit of the golf club and the GM side out of it. So you ready for your Back Nine?
Yep, I'm ready.
What's your favorite golf movie?
Caddyshack.
See, I want you to not say that, but I watched it the other day, and I'm like, I'm laughing at every freaking liner. Like,
how can you not? I don't. I don't know.
So good. What is your favorite hole at Dodge Riverside?
It was hole 13 until they
tore it up and made it a par 3.
Until we tore it up, and it probably will be probably hole 16. It's a little dogleg left par 5 up the hill. Really kind of we're a relatively flat golf course with the exception of that hole. You kind of get down into our lowest area there, and really nice little kind of a small green that's protected up there, but and then got some trees up on the right hand side. So yeah, that's probably my favorite hole right now. And par 5s are fun, right? You know, you hit driver as far as you can, and
except for hole number 10 at Alpine Country Club. There's
yeah.
a magnet on the right-hand side where there is very heavily wooded areas. And I've played the back nine twice, and I've been in that woods, and I've doubled that hole twice. I don't want to talk about it. I'm still mad. What golf ball are you currently playing?
Pro V1X.
See, I can't swing hard enough to hit the X. Like I try, and it's the Pro V1 for me. I'm on the lighter. You swing hard. I remember, and you're also tall. Like I mean, that's you got that.
I got a few inches on you.
Now,
the Pro V1 feels like a marshmallow when I hit it. It really does. It's so soft compared to the X.
I like marshmallows. Now, speaking of food, I hear you like the buffalo chicken wrap at Dodge Riverside.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
I'm a wrap. I mean, at Marian, I mean, you might not remember the little side like wrap. I don't even know where that was. Like it was. There was like a.
It was across. Yeah, it was across. What was that?
What was that place called? Oh my god.
I can't remember what it was called either.
And the lady that made it was like the nicest lady, and she made it to the point that I didn't have to tell her what I wanted. I just walk in and be like, you know. So I'm a wrap guy, right? Still to this day, I love wraps. So what other items on the menu do you like? I mean, the buffalo chicken wrap sounds pretty good, but
gosh, you know what? And my wife will tell you, I'm a burger guy. I love burgers, and I've really got we do a hangover burger. You know,
if it's got an egg on it, I'm sold.
Yeah, it's got a fried egg on it.
Oh my god!
So that's my one. You know, I'll get there early on a Saturday morning, you know, and haven't eaten breakfast yet or anything, and it gets to be about 10 o'clock, and you're like, I got to eat something, and that's what it is.
And you're still skinny, like you eat all the time, and you're so skinny. And I don't. I'm sad. But that burger sounds awesome.
I work out a little bit too. I know you run and stuff. I got out of running. I was running for a little while and actually got my son involved in doing that. And he's 7, and he did a 5K with me back Thanksgiving last year. And so I've got to work out a little bit more than what I used to keep the pounds down for sure.
That's crazy to me that you have a 7-year-old. I can't get over that. That's bananas. So be honest, how far do you hit your driver? Because you hit it further than me before, and I'm sure you still do, but how far?
You know, I think I've lost a little bit. I mean, you know, everybody always talks about how far they hit it, but I mean, I can definitely get it out there 310 or 320. Do I do that every time? No. You know, I'm probably a 280 guy consistently when I'm hitting
further than me. That's fine. Whatever. What is the best golf course you've ever played and the worst golf course you've ever played?
Oh, best golf course is probably Crooked Stick in Indianapolis.
So good, isn't it? Oh my god.
Oh yeah, that one's really good. I'd have to go back really far. And I couldn't even remember that it was a golf course in I think it was up around Logansport, Indiana, maybe something like that. And I can't remember what the name of it is now. But it was no, it was in Rensselaer. That's where it was. It's like Rensselaer Golf Club or something like that. It's a little just 9-hole golf course. I remember it had a hole on it that, I mean, it was trees on both sides, and you literally you hit it out, and it was a 90-degree turn to the left. I mean, it was just
because that's logical.
Yeah, it was just the goofiest hole you could ever possibly play.
Wow. Okay. I'm glad that you don't remember the name of that course, because I don't want you to know.
It's probably not even there anymore.
So I haven't been to where you are before, but I'm a huge craft beer guy. So what's the craft beer scene like where you are? Are you a beer drinker?
I'm a beer drinker, but I've gotten into the craft beer stuff. Definitely not as much as you. I haven't. I follow that a little bit with you, and I can't keep up with all the beers that you're trying.
I literally went to Boston last week just to go to one brewery so I could get a glass and a couple of cans of beer. Like, it was a day trip. Like,
just to do
disgusting. That. Yeah.
So, you know, I can't, you know, I haven't been to a whole lot of places like that, and so I can't really speak, but I do know that that there are some good craft places. So we've got a place called Old Market here that I know there's quite a few places that are down there that are kind of those craft brewery type places.
So
I got to get out more.
Yeah, I think. Yeah, I mean, stop playing golf. You're not playing golf this week. I'm sorry. You're going to breweries. I'm
I'm
sorry.
gonna
Deal. Play twice next week. Go to a brewery.
Well, you need to come out here, and then we can go do that.
Hey, I'd love to play your courses. I feel like I know a guy that could help get me on.
Yeah,
So,
for
I
sure.
mean,
We might be able to.
yeah. Now, you know that I'm Tiger's biggest fan. I always have been and always will be.
Oh yeah.
I've been buying like merchandise since I've been here. I got stuff stacked over there on the
Oh,
dresser. Like it's unbelievable. Like I'm buying
how
stuff.
great was the Open? I got really excited on Sunday.
Oh, dude, and that was my birthday too, right? And Tiger has never won on my birthday.
Oh,
So
gosh.
not that he reads his tweets, but I tweeted him that morning and I said, just so you know, today's my birthday, and if you don't win, I'm gonna be unhappy. And then he didn't win. And I honestly, before I ask this question, I honestly think he lost that golf tournament. That shot that he hit trying to flop it over that bunker is the reason he doubled that hole.
Yeah.
And everybody's like, oh, Francesco won it. And I'm like, no, he didn't. Tiger lost it because Tiger pars that hole. He doesn't bogey the next, theoretically.
Right.
And he goes into a playoff. And Tiger's not going to lose in a playoff in the Open for his number 15. So anyway, yeah.
We were talking in the golf shop, and one of my guys made a really good comment. Tiger on those two holes looked like what everybody else did, 10, 15 years ago, where he tried to force it. He tried to make something happen, and it just wasn't going to happen.
But think about this: 7-8 months ago, the dude was standing on the side of the road getting arrested, and he could barely walk.
Yeah, you're right. Yeah.
Like if you think about how far he's come, how quickly he's come.
Absolutely.
And he was 1,048th in the world like a month ago. Like the dude's 50th in the world.
Yeah.
He's playing a couple more times this year. It's just a matter of time. I honestly think.
I thought he got a bad draw too Thursday and Friday. He probably played in the worst of weather. I mean, it was windy all day Thursday when he played, and he played in the rain on Friday, and and shoots even par. I thought he really looked good. This is the best that I'd seen him play in a long time.
I made a comment on Twitter last week that he's got the best swing that I've ever seen him have, and
Agreed.
A guy argued with me and he said, no, he doesn't have as good enough swing as he did in 2000. And I said that because he's 42, he can't have the swing that he had in 2000. The guy's 42 and he's flying a 3-iron further than I had a driver downwind off of concrete. Like the guy is just his smash factor and his ball speed is so good, and his back has been operated on like 15 times, right? Like literally back fusion surgery. And just if he stays healthy for the next 8-10 years, I mean, it could be dangerous what he could do. And that leads me to my next question, which I ask on every single episode of the hashtag Wednesday Match Plays. Do you think he breaks Jack's record? Why or why not?
Oh gosh, you're not gonna like it, but I don't think he does.
I don't like it. You're right.
I know you're not gonna like that answer, but what's he's at 14 right now. He's what? He's 42 years old. He's getting up there, and if you just look at the talent that's out there right now, I do think he gets another one. Maybe he gets two, and he gets darn close. But it's going to be really hard for him, I think, to get there. I do, even as good as he's playing right now.
I think he gets the wins record, which is also, I think that's almost as important. I mean, to the naysayers, every time I call Tiger the GOAT, people are like, no, he doesn't have 18 majors. No, he doesn't. I'm sorry, but if majors were all that mattered, he'd play 4 tournaments a year. Like, I mean,
sure. Yeah.
So I think he gets the wins record in the next couple of years, if not next year. Heck, he could be this year as far as that's concerned.
Yeah, for sure.
But I think that Chip Essig, so I don't know if you know Chip Essig from the PGA. He was on the show. He's an Indiana guy. He was on the show. God, it's been forever now. But I asked him the exact same question, and he said that if Tiger wins one more, he breaks the record, meaning that all he's going to need is just to get one more to get that monkey off his back to go out and break the record. And yeah, it would have been cool to have, the Open being the one that like a major and his next win kind of in his comeback, right? But I think he's slowly progressing to where he could have another, maybe not as good of a run as he had in 2002 through 2008.
That'll never be that good.
I mean, he won like 74% of the tournaments that he played in. Like, it was like if you were playing and he was in the field, you're playing for second. Like, that's literally what it was. So I don't like your answer. I respect it though, because I can't wait till I can't wait for. I envision this day, like whether it's 5, 7, 10, 12 years from now, when he breaks the record, And I'd love it to be the 2020 Open at St. Andrews. I'm just saying that'd be a good place to do it if you figure it out, right? But just when he does, I'm just gonna go to Twitter, one tweet, and I'm gonna be like, now what? Hashtag haters. Like that's it. Like I mean, come on.
I hope he proves me wrong. I really do. Because that would be very special to see that. Yeah, you talked about Chip. I don't know. I worked with Chip for a couple years actually.
No kidding. Where at?
When I was at Hartman Crossing.
Crossing, yeah.
They got in there when they kind of grew and had a couple management contracts. We were one of their contracts, so got an opportunity to learn a lot from Chip. Chip is an extremely knowledgeable PGA professional.
And he's a nice frecking guy too.
He is a very nice guy.
Good dude.
Yes. So yeah, I learned a great deal from him, and I know you know Keith Clark as well. He was part of that crew.
Yes,
also.
he was.
So yeah, I learned a great deal from those two guys. They're fabulous golf professionals.
Speaking of Keith Clark, he sends me more business to Tiburon than I think we book online. Like that guy is really? Every week he's like, "Hey, Ricky, got another foursome coming down. Got some members coming down." Like he's giving us a lot of action down there in Naples. Awesome. So, well, hey, thank you so much for coming on the show. Totally random that we got you on last minute, but
that's awesome. Yeah,
to have you come on the show. But before I let you go, I got one more question: is what's next, man? You're just kind of getting settled there at your new role as GM, but what's the immediate future look like for you and the club?
Well, hopefully I've got a long stay here at Dodge Riverside for sure. I've really enjoyed it and gotten to see it grow just a little bit here. I feel like I've really just kind of scratched the surface with this one, and I hope that I'm here at Dodge for many years and can continue with Landscapes Unlimited as well as we continue to grow as a big business there.
That's awesome, man. Well, I saw you last time we were walking down the dorms in Marian College, and you haven't changed a bit. You might, I mean, you've got 7-year-old kids, and you're in the job that I'm trying to get to. So I appreciate the heck out of the fact that you're staying in the business and that you've done what you've done and the progress that you've made. So you keep sharing that on Facebook, and I'll keep paying attention. And it was awesome to have you.
Well, hopefully we can stay in touch a little bit better, and hopefully I know you've got some good aspirations there, and you're going to get there. You're going in the right direction. You work for a good company too, so I mean you'll definitely be there, and I'm looking forward to seeing you make that next step as well.
Well, my nickname's #Ricky, so I'm not leaving Facebook anytime soon. We stay connected on Facebook if nothing else. And we're going to use you coming on this show as an excuse to stay more in touch and find a way to play some golf sometime so you can.
I'd love to.
That'd be awesome, great. Man. But again, this episode of the #Wednesday Match Play is going to be on YouTube. It'll be on iTunes and Google Play via podcast. If you haven't subscribed, I've told you at the beginning, I'm going to tell you again, click the subscribe button down below. Kyle, thank you so much for coming on the show. It was great getting caught up with you and talking about barbecue chicken wraps. Like, I'm not hungry because it's late here. I might be having a chicken wrap tomorrow. But as always, on the #Wednesday Match Plays, you have to remember to eat, sleep, golf.